Gem International is a new diamond explorer in the richest diamond producing country in Africa, located next to the fourth largest producing diamond mine in the world. International Spotlight is on an 1109 carat diamond recently discovered in Africa by a fellow Canadian junior with a proven operator and finance team. Gem International trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol GI. Visit us at gemdiamondmining.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on Cyclesman.com. Welcome back to the show, Tim.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Have your charts changed with the election of Donald Trump?
Yes, and they are very confusing at the same time. We have watched and we have talked about the Dow theory non-confirmation, which began in June of 2015. And we have watched that ever since. And we've had rallies and declines and yet it's held. And now it's gone. It's blown out. The Dow theory bearish primary trend change from last June, and I say last June of 2015. This market has spent basically a year and a half setting up with a top in association with the Dow theory bearish trend change, and it's gone. Now, that said, I don't have this totally digested yet because there are also, and this is not excuses either, it's just that I don't quite have my mind around this. It doesn't make sense to me because we're seeing tremendous non-confirmations with other averages like the Amex, the NYSE, the S&P, and so and even the NASDAQ is down today with this happening. So it's a bit confusing, but the Dow theory non-confirmation is gone. And the bearish primary trend change, it's gone.
Well, as we're speaking, the Dow has set a new record. Does that throw everything out the window?
No. I mean, that is neither here nor there. The new high is neither here nor there. It's the bullish primary trend change that matters to me. And that was the bettering of the previous secondary high point by both averages. Now, Jim, some may look at it and say, well, the transports haven't made an all-time new high like the industrials have, and that doesn't matter. It's, you're not looking for all-time new highs in both indexes or all-time new lows in both indexes in the case of a bearish trend change. The trend change comes with the joint bettering of of the previous secondary high points or the joint violation of the previous secondary low points in the case of a bearish trend change. And here, what we finally got is we've been trapped between the two. One average would better a previous secondary high point, but the other one wasn't. And we had this massive non-confirmation. It just the averages were, as the old timer said, they weren't in gear. They were not in gear together. They were in sync, however you want to say it. And now, with the bettering, like I said, say it again, with the bettering of the joint bettering of the previous secondary high points, that year and a half long non-confirmation and bearish trend change has been erased.
What does that mean for people who are looking to invest?
I'm not sure I know at this point, because the messages are still mixed. We have like I said, the transports lagging. We have, even the NASDAQ, the small caps are underperforming here. I'm skeptical because of the simple fact that we never got the correction that we should have seen, that we were set up for. And so I'm wondering if what I'm thinking is happening at this point. I need a little more time to let the market tell me and get my mind around this, look at data. But I'm thinking that I think it's still pushing into a top. I think the topping process is just evolving. And this may be where we go into that blow-off top that many had talked about. I did not see that before with, like I said, as a result of that trend change, bearish trend change that occurred last year. I just wasn't seeing it. Now it's gone, so I guess that is possible. But I'm reluctant to believe the new highs because of the other non-confirmations with the other averages.
Now, Tim, I know when you put together your newsletter and your charts, you're not watching the evening news to do it. But with the election of Donald Trump, overnight markets in Asia and Europe dumped and then one day later recovered. Was that just a case of panic?
I think so. I did see that. And, many have said that if Trump was elected, the market would crash. And initially, like I said, the futures were down. So I don't know, that's part of the confusion here. I don't know that anybody has these answers, but and looking at the charts, the reason why I sound confused is because it's not making sense. It's just, there's some things I'm seeing that just do not make sense. So that's why I'm reluctant to believe the so-called breakout that we're seeing here. But I also have to respect the fact, again, that the Dow theory, non-confirmation, and bearish trend change have been reversed. So I think that while we may be pushing into a higher degree, this continuing to evolve, I mean, we have nothing here at this point. We have nothing here that tells me that it can't go higher.
If it does, is this a case of a few companies moving it, or is everybody going up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a case. That's why I'm reluctant, because looking at the NYSE, short term, it looks very, very, very toppy here. It has not moved above those previous highs, the August, September highs yet. Looking at, let me go back. I'm going through charts as we talk. Looking at the small caps, the Russell, they haven't quite made it yet either. Looking at the S&P, it hasn't made it yet either. Looking at the, let me go to the Wilshire 5000, which is one of the broadest indexes of all. It hasn't confirmed either. So, that's the confusing point. Like I said, on the one hand, the Dow theory bearish trend change is blown out, but then nothing else is confirming. So that's my problem with that's where my trust issues come in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just, do we see another Dow theory non-confirmation setup in over the course of the next month or so, and then this is one big giant fake out? I think that's exactly a possibility. I mean, when you look at this, for example, the Amex Composite, and if someone wants to go look at this, I mean, this is the American Stock Exchange Composite, and it's the symbol is XAX. It gapped, and it's still down 3% today. So how does it? It's not computing. That's my problem here. It's not computing. So I'm not sure. I mean, if I'm forced to give an answer, which I want to give, I'm going to say that this is we're pushing into, it's a continuation of the topping process.
Is this a case of you're taking your chances here because we really don't know what's going on right now?
I wouldn't touch this market. When you say take your chances, I wouldn't be long this market for at gunpoint. Absolutely not. I do not trust it. Now, at the same time, again, I don't have a sell signal. I mean, I don't have a Dow theory non-confirmation. I don't have a bearish trend. I have nothing. I think what we're seeing is a further evolution of the top. I mean, that's what this is telling me. If nothing else is confirming this, it's problematic. I mean, as you click through these indexes, the value line geometric, same thing. It's actually up some today, but has not confirmed.
We'll have more with Tim Wood right after the break.
I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Tim, what do you see happening with oil right now?
Well, oil is we are at a short-term low, and I see a counter trend advance underway. I'm not sure if it was. I don't think it's been reversed today, but we have a short-term advance underway, and like I said, it should be counter trend, and then it should continue lower. Gold, I don't remember what we said last time we talked, but we had I think we talked about the intermediate term low that occurred back in October, early October, and I think at the time, looking at the chart, it was a little sluggish getting going, but it was an intermediate degree low. That's been confirmed now. That's an absolute. And I think there's another push up in gold here, but ultimately the advance in gold should be another counter trend advance that should be followed by that additional leg down, like we have said all along, into the 9-year cycle low.
What kind of a new year are you projecting?
Well, at this point, looking at the market, like I said, I don't trust this thing because when I say the market, talking about equities first, I don't trust what I see because it doesn't make sense. And if something doesn't make sense, like I said, I have trust issues. So there's mixed messages here. So I think that said that we're seeing an evolution with this very large topping process that's going on. As far as gold for the new year, I think we're going to move down and retest and or violate. Ideally, I'd like to see it violate the December low a little bit, but it certainly a little bit deeper retest of that low. And then I think we're going to have the low late this year, early next for the 9-year cycle low and the low that everybody's looking for in gold. And I think gold is going to then perform very well. Crude oil, probably the same thing. I'm looking for basically a retest of the February low there, and then I believe from that point that gold and oil will be set up to move higher. Equities is kind of the wrinkle here. Like I said, this is not making sense to me. It just doesn't compute at this point. But I do think it's still topping.
A lot of confused emotions, perhaps confusing the market.
Yeah, I think the election obviously has got the marketplace confused, and that is obviously showing up in the charts. And I don't want. I mean, it's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, because it doesn't make sense. It's like I'm looking at the banking index, and it was up huge today, and it's still up, but it's reversed off the highs, very oversold. My gut is looking at these charts is that it's like an EKG having a heart attack type thing. It's just it's panic and confusion and frustration and whatever, optimism maybe, but I think that it's the market pushing into final highs. I just don't trust it.
Now, of course, Robo Traders are the big trend. Are the robots even programmed to handle something unusual?
I think the robots may be creating the unusual. I really do. But that's neither here nor there. What's causing the price to move? I mean, the price, if it's a robot or a person, that doesn't bother me, because it's at the end of the day, as they say, it's all factored into that price bar. So that's not a consideration to me. As I flip through charts and we're talking here, for example, the Dow Jones Utilities gapped down. They were down huge. They're still down 2%. So that's my concern. That's where the confusion is. Why are the industrials and the transports, it's almost like a giant fake out, and I'm not making excuses here, but it's almost like these, I don't know, I guess just say it, that it was, they chased those averages to blow out the Dow theory non-confirmation to try to make for a sound market environment. I don't know. I just don't trust it.
You're a big watcher of the velocity of money. See anything there?
No, that data is not reported daily, and I haven't seen anything there. Last I've looked, nothing has improved with the underlying economy. The velocity of data money, the velocity of money, it continues to collapse. There's been a little bit of an uptick, but nothing, to change the trend that is going on has been taking place. And the job participation rate, none of that's changed, and nothing there. Again, I think we're seeing some sort of a fake out type move.
Good place again to perhaps just keep your cash and wait for things to happen.
If I had cash burning a hole in my pocket that I wanted to invest in the market right now, I think cash is king. It has been for a year and a half, and I think the next safest place to be is when we get this 9-year cycle low in gold. I think that's going to be the move that everybody's waiting for. This market is so damn confusing. I wouldn't touch it here. There's no way. I just would not touch it.
Your final message then after the election?
Let's give it. We need a little time for it to shake out, and what we're seeing is a lot of emotion and confusion in these charts. I think that's why it's not making sense. It's not making sense to anyone, and this is the emotional response that we're seeing, and we need to give it a little time to shake out, maybe a week or two to shake out. Hopefully by the time we do the next interview, we'll have a little better answers. And certainly within a month or so, we should have a lot better answers. But I do think, in spite of the fact that this Dow theory stuff was blown out, that the fact that these other averages are not confirming, and just the behavior of the market, the feel of the market, looking at the reversals, looking at, the utilities, looking at, for Christ's sake, like I said, the Amex had gapped down, and I thought, what was it, 3%, I said? I don't remember now, not looking at that chart. None of this makes sense. So if something doesn't make sense, I think it's time to take a breath, back away, and let it shake out. But I think it's part of the emotion from the election and part of the ongoing topping process.
Nobody went broke holding on to their money, did they?
I don't think so. They shouldn't have. And that's where I would remain.
Thanks for chatting with us, Tim.
Thank you.
My guest has been Tim Cyclesman Wood. Check out his Cycles news and views on cyclesman.com. You're listening to HowStreet.com radio. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our popular YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. You can forward questions to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.